Hi y'all, Bonnie Jo Laflin, first and only female scout in the NBA, sports reporter and author, and this is The American Athlete. I am Bonnie Jo Laflin. What do you see when you watch Jimmy?
I see he's in the Super Bowl.
Oh, as a little girl, I was with my daddy all the time. So he was a season ticket holder for the 49ers, Golden State Warriors, San Francisco Giants, you name it. And so I would go to games with him when little. My dad wanted Bonnie, my mom wanted Jill, and it kind of was like my two different personas because I was like a tomboy playing softball and running track and playing tennis and riding my horses, and then you have like the feminine side, which was the pageants and the ballerina and the dance. And so when I went into working for the Golden State Warriors, and I was basically able to combine both, you could go way back, but that was my first time actually really understanding this, being like working for a sports team, and I was still a senior in high school. The Niners and the Dallas Cowboys were very competitive. I'd say there were probably about 7,500 girls, and they'd wrap around Texas Stadium, which is the old stadium. This is kind of, normal, in a way in my world, and I was able to make that team. They had 9 spots available for rookies, and they called me the prime time of the sidelines because I went the same time as Dion. Warriors, they were, at that point, they weren't the Warriors of now. They were kind of like non-existent when it came to like not really understanding their basketball op or business ops. They were barely getting into the playoffs. We went to the playoffs, we got swept by the Phoenix Suns. We had Chris Mullin, Shrewis Marshallonis, Timmy Hardaway, Mitch Richmond. We had obviously Hall of Famers, but not like how it is now. When I went to the Niners, they were run by Eddie Bartolo, one of the best owners in sports. He was the first owner in the NFL to give cheerleaders rings. So he gave us a Super Bowl ring, had us go to the Super Bowl ring ceremony, the parade. He gave us 2 tickets to every game. We got paid a whopping $75 a game. That was a lot of money to cheerleaders. Treated the cheerleaders like we were part of the team. So much that when we went to the Super Bowl, I was 18 and I forgot that we had to be back at the hotel for the bus to leave to go to the plane. I missed the bus, and so did another girl. So we had to take a cab, and we get to the plane, and Ada Bartolo's waiting, like they held the plane for us. And Jerry and Steve Young were like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm 18, I don't know." Like, and Eddie Bartolo said, "She's as much as a part of the team as you are." After getting my degree at University of Texas, broadcast journalism, and developed my on-air talent, so covering the NFL, NBA, MLB, horse racing, worked for NFL Network, KCAL, KCBS when covering the Lakers, went on ESPN. It was the morning show called Cold Pizza, which is now First Take, but it was called Cold Pizza, so I was there in the very, very beginning. And then I just loved it because I was able to cover all the different sports. I'm very opinionated, so I was able to really be able to show off my knowledge without having like an IFB in my ear. Like I didn't want to do like Sideline because I didn't want someone telling me in my ear like what to ask or what to say. I liked kind of being on a desk, like a round table type of feel. And then I started doing Sideline, of course, because as a female they kind of just push you to do that at some point. And then radio, I loved being on radio because again, you're off the cuff, you can really show your knowledge. I think that's why a lot of females in sports don't really like radio as much because it's not just about the appearance of TV. You actually have to love sports. When I was scouting, I was also able to learn a lot about the CBA and salary cap, the business operations through Jeannie, the basketball ops side. So I loved doing that, but then I loved being able to talk, more than just basketball. Getting into football, getting to baseball. I love minor league baseball. I did a lot of research, and there wasn't a book that encompassed all females who have paved the way in sports. There was individual books, that Billie Jean King wrote her own book, Danica has her own book, but not a book that showed all the different women and some of the women that have been lost throughout the years that maybe the younger generation didn't know of, like Nadia Comaneci or Mary Lou Retton or a Jackie Joyner-Kersee, because it's before their time. So it was important for me to be able to show all the different females and all different facets from, front office, on the ice, off the court, on the court, and really show that there's a space for women and that now there's someone you actually can read their story and look up to, where a lot of us didn't have anyone to look up to because there wasn't anyone in those roles. So it was really important, and for me, I want this book to be like, the professors that have reached out to me and teachers, like to have these books there forever, hopefully. And that would be a useful book that people can look at and show the different pioneers. I guess it's my why is that when I get the messages from these mothers and these young girls and saying thank you so much, and I had one just recently yesterday who was like, I'm a female trainer at Notre Dame and I want to end up being like an NFL the lead female trainer in the NFL, and now I see that there is a place for me. Or these mothers saying, I have a young girl, she's 5 or 6, but now I have a book that I can read to her. When I was younger, luckily I had like a mom and dad who were very supportive, but there's a lot of families who'd be like, you're not going to make any money. You can't do that. That's not going to be a career. And now you're seeing that you can, and especially in college, like with the NIL now, and that there's money to be made as an athlete. So I think all of those stories of just that females are encouraged and inspired was the main reason.